Hey guys, it's Melanie. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back. I hope your day is off to a great start. So today's video, admittedly, is going to be a little bit all over the place. I want to apologize for that in advance. Like many of you, I think that watching Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, I was on TikTok for a while and then I thought this is not the place for me. But I feel like short form content has really affected my own personal attention span. And so I understand that it probably has created a touch of ADD for a lot of you guys as well. And you're just not interested in listening to long stories, and that's totally fine. I respect that. So I will try to put some timestamps in the description box down below where if you just want certain information about this candle right here, you can reference the description box and kind of, I guess, fast forward to the parts that you are more interested in than others. So yeah. Also, I feel a little nervous making this video because I do feel like I have to apologize for the way that my collab candle ended up launching yesterday. If you are just now finding all of this stuff out, let me just kind of give a little bit of backstory about what happened yesterday before I get into the story about how this candle came to be, what the meaning is behind it to me personally. We'll talk fragrance notes, we'll talk how strength and throw is, all of that information. So yeah, I actually found out yesterday myself via a couple of DMs on Instagram that Vintage Pomander, which is a candle collab that I partnered with Kringle on to create, had been placed on the website by the IT department. And I didn't know that it was going to go live yesterday. Honestly, I thought it would be a part of the launch that is coming on Thursday. There's a few other new candles that are going to be launching, so I figured it would make the most sense to probably have it launch that day, but I hadn't received confirmation on that quite yet. So when I saw that DM, or I was actually a couple of you who DM'd me on Instagram telling me that, like, oh my gosh, like the candle's on the website, I already got mine, you know, hopefully you know that it's on there. And I was like, oh, I didn't. So at the time that I found out, I was literally sitting outside of my daughter's soccer academy thing that she's doing for this winter. So I was sitting in my minivan and I was like, oh my gosh, like it's out, and shoot, I'm not home to like order my own candle, you know? So I very quickly put out both an Instagram story as well as an Instagram post. And then as soon as I got home from the soccer academy, I ended up posting something on my community tab here on YouTube, just because I know that so many of you guys who actually follow my channel were super excited about this release. I know a lot of you just love Pomander scents and you just wanted to be able to enjoy this for the holiday season. So I tried to get home as quickly as I could. I wasn't able to, for whatever reason, on my YouTube studio, on my app here, I wasn't able to like post something on my community tab through the app. And so I was literally racing home with my kid, like, oh my gosh, I have to get there. You know, I have to like let people know, because I was concerned with how quickly it was going. So anyway, that was how I found out. This was just a miscommunication between, you know, Kringle, myself, the IT department. I think there was just a little breakdown there. And, you know, I feel really bad about that. When I saw some of the comments about people being disappointed that like it had sold out already and, you know, you'd been waiting for so long, honestly, like that, it broke my heart. Like, this was not how I intended for this to go at all. By the way, if you're new here, you are hearing snoring. There is a dog in my lap. Let me see if I can just, yeah, this is my dog, Alf. He is gonna come into play here in a second when I talk about, you know, some of the stuff about this candle. But anyway, those are the noises that you're hearing. But so that was how this kind of all came to be. It was very sudden. Kringle did initially pour limited quantities, not because it was to create some kind of like FOMO situation. Like that's not what this project was about at all. I think quite honestly, they poured the amount that they figured would eventually sell throughout like the month of December. But there was a lot of people started sharing it as soon as it was discovered, and you know, other ambassadors were posting it on their stories, which was so lovely to see. Like the amount of people who were sharing it just really like it made my heart like feel really good. It just was, you know, like people were excited about it, and that made me really happy. You know, but then also I was like, oh, I don't have my video ready. And I just was like, okay, well, it should probably still be there until tomorrow, you know, and I'll get my video ready together early in the morning, and I'll get it up, and hopefully, you know, at least some of my subscribers can get to it before it's discovered by other people. But obviously none of that happened the way that it was supposed to. So I do want to apologize for that. You know, I think that it was just a situation of nobody realizing that this would actually be something that would maybe do as well as it did. So I will tell you right now, Kringle is pouring more of these candles. The reason that it launched as late as it did is because suppliers are extremely backed up, you guys. I got all of my information finalized with Kringle a few months ago, and then as soon as we finalized everything for the project, Kringle ordered the jars, they ordered the labels, you know, and everything started coming together. And but yeah, the delays were long. Like I didn't expect this to launch quite as late as it did in December. I was hoping for maybe like a Thanksgiving launch so that, you know, most people could order it before December and have it like for the start of the actual holiday season. But with the way that supply chains still are, like it just is what it is. So, you know, I was getting information when it was available from Kringle in terms of, you know, the labels are behind, you know, the jars arrived, but, you know, we're still waiting on the labels. So it was one of those processes that I think just like when things could go wrong, they just kind of did, right? So, but in the end, I can tell you that this candle turned out exactly how I envisioned it, and I am just so thankful for this opportunity. Like that is the first thing that I want to say, is that I am so thankful to Kringle for even providing me with the opportunity to create something that had so much meaning to me. And it's just like I've just been glowing. Like when I've been lighting this, like it has just made me so happy. By the way, this is my lab sample. This is not even like one of the pours from the actual like release. I don't even have I don't even have my own like actual candle yet. The label that you see on here is just like a sample label, so it's not even like the real label. The fragrance inside is the real thing. Like this is definitely what I'm burning is what the final product is, but like it's in terms of like the packaging, you know, this was just something that they put on there to send out to me for like the final approval for everything. So yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to address that in the beginning of this video, just so you guys know that there was no ill intention behind this at all. I think it was purely a case of, oh my gosh, like, how did this go as fast as it did? And you guys, I'm blown away by that. And listen, I'm not delusional. I know that not everybody who purchased it just because it was something that I created. There are many people out there who have no idea who I am. So I guess maybe let me do a little intro here for those of you that might be new to my channel as a result of this project here. Hi, I'm Melanie. I have been a YouTuber just as a hobby. This isn't you guys, this isn't a job for me. This is not, my life does not revolve around YouTube. This has been my hobby for a number of years. I actually began my channel back in, it was May of 2010. That was when I uploaded my very first video. My very first video on my channel, it's no longer there because every time I look back on it, it just made me cringe. I was so awkward. Like, talking to a camera did not come naturally for me at first. So I deleted a lot of my like earlier videos, but my channel was created in May of 2010. My channel is not dedicated to one single subject. I do not do YouTube the way that most professional YouTubers do. Because this is just a hobby for me, I upload the content that I want. So the bulk of what you see here on my channel are usually, you know, makeup, skincare reviews. I'm really into beauty stuff. Like, that was kind of, you know, one of my passions earlier in life. And a lot of, well, I would say like the other half of my content is essentially home fragrance content. So I review candles. Yeah, I love fragrance in general. I do perfume reviews here on my channel. I literally do whatever floats my boat. I don't have any rhyme or reason to the way that I upload. It just, when I have time to film, I will film usually several videos in a row, and then I schedule them to go up. And this is just fun for me. This is something that I consider an outlet. I have a good time with it. I am, yeah, I'm 45 years old, so I feel like I'm kind of at a point in my life where I'm just like, I just do what I want. And then if people happen to jive with that, great. And if they don't, that's great too, because guess what? There's a whole YouTube world out there of other people that you might connect with. It might not be me, and that's fine. Bums me out a little bit, but whatever, you know, I'm not delusional about this. I am very self-aware. Like, this is one of the things that I've always prided myself on in life, is that I have a pretty good sense of self-awareness. And so with that, I recognize that, like, I don't run my channel the way that I should. I don't promote myself the way that I should. You know, I have actually, in my earlier years, when my channel kind of started doing well and growing rapidly for like a short amount of time, there was a program that YouTube had where they would reach out to growing channels, and their like experts basically would try to like give you advice on what to do to help you to continue that growth. And I remember being on the phone with someone from YouTube, and, you know, they were looking through my stuff, and they were just, at the time, I think my Instagram was still pretty new, and they were just like, why are you posting pictures of your dog and your kid? You should only be promoting things that you're doing on your channel. And still to this day, like, my Instagram really has no relation to my YouTube. I post content about my dogs on my Instagram because I think they're cute and I love them, and I like to foist my love of my dogs upon other people. But yeah, I just, I'm not one of those people that treats YouTube as something that I do to like get famous or anything. It's just, it's not like that for me. I'm pretty laid back. I just kind of tend to keep to myself for the most part, try to live my best life, you know, for whatever that is at the stage that I'm in right now. I like to have fun. I like to laugh. You know, a lot of what I actually share on Instagram are like funny reels that I come across in my stories. So if you follow me over there, a lot of what you're gonna see in my stories is not necessarily like me talking at the camera. It's usually like other people's content that I find absolutely hysterical. But yeah, like I don't treat YouTube maybe the way that I should. And that's totally fine with me though. Like, it's fun, right? So I'm a mom. I have an 11-year-old daughter. She is my little soccer superstar. She's a goalie. I'm married. I have 2 pugs. And then I have my little angel pug, Mr. Kong. My channel name is MrKongsMom because I started it back when I had Mr. Kong, my first pug. He really was the love of my life. He was just the funniest little guy. He died in June of 2021. He was 15. So he made it to a ripe old age. I still miss that little turkey like crazy. And a lot of you guys who have been with me for a long time really connected with him as well. After he passed, I never changed my channel name because I never will. Like, it is what it is. This is my channel name. And yeah, so anyway, that's just a little bit about me. I'm married to a really great guy who's super supportive, and he, like, you know, he encourages me to do this YouTube thing, and yeah, but he's not into any of the same things that I am. Like, we don't share a love of home fragrance together. He puts up with my home fragrance. You know, sometimes he walks in the house and he's like, oh boy, it really smells in here, you know? So, but he's wonderful. Like, he's a really good guy, and I adore him. So I'm very blessed in life. I'm very lucky. And I just like to share my passion for all of these fun, frivolous, completely unnecessary things with other people. So that's a little bit about me. So if you are new here, obviously, if you feel some type of connection, feel free to subscribe. I would love to have you here. You certainly don't have to watch, you know, content that you're not interested. It's always very clearly identified, whether it's a candle review, whether it's, you know, a skincare review or anything like that. So anyway, there we go. That's me. That's me in a nutshell, I guess. Now let's talk about this fragrance. First of all, again, I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity to even be able to create this. And I just want to give Brett, Philly Candleman. Most of you guys are aware of who Brett is. If you're not, I'll put his channel down below. But the reason that I actually got back into Kringle candle was because of Brett. Back in, I think it was 2014 or 2015, that was the first time that I ever ordered from Kringle. And I've never made this a secret, and those videos are still up on my channel, but I didn't have the best luck with Kringle candles. This was back when they were still using all paraffin, and I just found the burn of the candles when they were paraffin to be quite messy. I found them to be very sooty. The strength in the throw wasn't the best for me. And so honestly, after my first, you know, order from them, I had just kind of written Kringle off. They just weren't the formula for me. No hard feelings, because here's the thing, like, not every candle company is for every single person, right? Like, I'm very realistic about that. But I just, you know, I thought I would share my experience, and I certainly, you know, had some people that didn't like me for those early thoughts, and that was fine too. Like, I also understand that people have different, you know, ways of approaching differences in opinions, and it's all fine. Like, it's all fine with me. But Brett really, when Kringle switched over to their soy formula, Brett really started working on me to give them another chance, and he worked for quite some time. I will be totally honest. He was like, listen, I am telling you, this is not the same candle that you tried back in 2015. You need to give them another chance. I know you are going to enjoy them now. So after much poking and prodding from Brett, I did. I made another purchase from them, and it was a completely different product. And this was really what brought me back to Kringle, is that Kringle and Mick especially are willing to actually take feedback from people. They are willing to accept constructive criticism. They are willing to make changes to their product when things aren't going, you know, as smoothly as they should. And I just really found that to be something that was so unique to especially this particular, you know, home fragrance industry. I couldn't imagine being someone who is a candle brand owner, because I'm not sure that I could deal with the amount and type of feedback that people give sometimes. You know, I really admire them for just being willing to take all of that in, do something with it, change the product, and make it the very best that it could be. And that is why I am still now so in love with these soy candles from Kringle, is because they give me the perfect burn that I'm looking for. In our last house, when we moved out of our last house and into this one, we had to repaint everything because of the amount of soot that I had on the walls and on the ceilings. It was really eye-opening to me, and it just made me realize the overall quality of the burn is so important. And this is why Kringle is, I think, so innovative with their products. And I'm so excited for you guys to see everything that's going to be coming in 2024. They are making some really great positive changes. They're continuing even now to evolve their product and taking feedback on it. And I just love that. It is something that I really don't see in a lot of other candle companies. So for me, like, when I was offered this opportunity, this literally came about in a live video that I did with Brett and with Mick. It wasn't even a video that I was originally supposed to be in. Brett just kind of invited me last minute, and I was like, hey, sure, you know, I'm not doing anything tonight. So I popped on, and as we were talking, like, Mick offered us each to be able to make our own custom candles. So this is how this came to be. It literally happened in a live video. And I remember Brett and I afterwards were just like, oh my God, did he really say that? Like, do we actually get to do that? So I remember us following up with Mick, and he was like, yeah, you totally get to do this. So, like, let's get it going. And this was now a couple of years ago. So this just goes to show you how long it actually does take to create a fragrance. This is such a time-consuming process. It was very eye-opening for me. You know, this was also, you know, kind of a special side project for Kringle. So, you know, I'm sure that, you know, slotting this in was not easy for them to do. And I really do want to thank them for that. You know, Kringle Candle definitely they have a busy operation. They pour their own candles, and they private label as well. So, you know, that means that their machines are always busy. And just creating a fragrance, now that I just had a role in this one, I can see why it takes as long as it does to develop just one fragrance or one collection even. The amount of testing that I did with this, the amount of tweaks that we did with this, like every time that I wanted a change made, like you have to address the whole formula and make sure that the wicks still work once you change the concentration of the fragrance oils. You have to burn it. You have to see if like there is anything crazy that happens throughout the course of the candle. So it's not a fast process. It's not a fast process. So I just want to say that. And certainly the supply chain issues didn't help at all with getting this out in a timely manner. So let's just say that. This has definitely been a long time coming, and I really appreciate everyone's patience around it. It is a lengthy process to begin with, and when you have companies that you rely on to give you different components to create your own product, you are literally at the mercy of, you know, other factories. You are at the mercy of, you know, FedEx, UPS, who is shipping all of these supplies to you in the first place. And then you have to figure out a time to slot this onto the factory line. So it is a lengthy process. It's not necessarily an easy process. And I, through this process, how many times can I say that word, process, have learned to be more patient, to be more mindful of, you know, how I, you know, talk about releases and things like that. Just because now I know how much goes into this, and I do want to give Kringle Candle props for putting out as many collections as they do. And they plan this stuff like a year in advance. Like this, they are now already like planning for probably next fall and holiday season. Like that is how it works in this particular industry. So yeah, that is why this took as long as it did. That is how it came to be. So again, massive thanks to my friend Brett for having me on that live. I didn't expect that to happen, neither did Brett. And it was just an incredible opportunity for me. I just remember being so happy after getting off that live. I remember texting some of my friends, and I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, I get to make my own smell. And immediately after that live, I knew right away what I wanted, and it was a Pomander scent. I know a lot of you probably expected me to go the like full-on gourmand route, like to come out with like a cake or a cookie type scent, but that wasn't like what immediately hit my brain. I thought about, you know, like my favorite holiday is Christmas. And fun fact about me is that I am an immigrant to America, this great country of ours. I actually just became a US citizen last year. So, however, I've been living here since I was 10 years old. it took me just a little while to get around to finishing that citizenship stuff, but honestly, it's a freaking mountain of paperwork. If you've ever been through it, man, I give you a high five. It's a process. It's not, they don't make it easy. So anyway, I'm originally from Germany. Both of my biological parents are German. The reason that I ended up in America is because my former stepdad is American, and he was stationed in Germany, actually at Ramstein Air Force Base. That was where he met my mom. They met at a bar on base, and you know, my mom was single at the time. She had 2 kids, and anyway, when my former stepdad got out of the military, he wanted to move back to the US. My parents, they were married at the time, and so that is how I ended up here. Yeah, you know, my mom was like, we're moving to America. And I was like, what? Didn't see it coming, but here I am. I am glad that I'm here. I miss my home country terribly. All of my family is still there, and I miss them terribly, but you know, this is how it came to be for me. So I'm German. I grew up with a mother who she had me when she was quite young, and so I spent a lot of time at my Oma and Opa's house. If you're not familiar, Oma and Opa is grandma and grandpa in Germany, in German, and I spent a lot of time with my Oma, and I was at her house very frequently. I'm sure that when I was little, I was a little bit of a handful. And one of the things that my Oma used to have me do when I was little to keep me busy and to keep me out of her hair while she was babysitting me, my mom had to work, so, you know, this was where I went. She would have me make orange pomanders. Orange pomanders are kind of a German Christmas tradition. It's actually quite prevalent amongst like a lot of the European countries to make orange pomanders around the holidays. It was one of my favorite things to do. She would literally sit me at her living room table. You know, she would spread out some newspaper. She would put a pile of oranges and even clementines in front of me and a pile of cloves, and she would just be like, make them pretty, you know? And so I would sit there for hours and just stick these cloves into these oranges, you know, and she would come in and she would tell me what a beautiful job I was doing. I had one of those omas that was just like your classic like grandma type, you know, like she fed you all the cookies, she made you all the treats, she gave you all the encouragement. She, you know, she thought I was like the greatest thing ever, you know, like the best granddaughter, and you know, she treated all of her grandkids like that. She was just an incredible woman. My Oma honestly was like, was, because she's no longer with us, but like always has been an incredibly important person in my life. An amazing, generous, kind, giving human being, and she really was one of my biggest, earliest blessings in life, and I was so lucky to be able to grow up with her as, you know, one of my primary caregivers. So that was really what came to my mind as soon as, you know, I got off of that live, was like, this would be such a great way to honor that core memory that I have, that love that I have for my Oma, that, you know, just that whole way that I grew up. Like, I look back on it so fondly, and I just feel so lucky to have been born into the family that I was born into, you know, and to have the opportunity to, you know, come here and to create a life in this country. Like, I feel very, very blessed by all of it. But yeah, like those memories growing up as a kid are just, that's what I go back to all the time. When I want to go to my happy place, I think about the time that I spent at my Oma's house. And honestly, I'm starting to tear up a little bit because I just remember how happy I was there. Ooh, sorry, hold on. All right, my apologies for getting a little teary there. I didn't expect that to happen. I personally look back on my time growing up with my Oma and my Opa as one of my primary caregivers. You know, my mom had to work a lot when I was younger, so they really were, they were a huge part of my life, and I miss them terribly. And I knew that when I was given this opportunity to create this scent, that it would be a really wonderful way for me to honor that very special memory that I have specifically with my Oma. She was someone who I still to this day look up to as a role model. You know, I wish that I could be the type of mother that she was. I wish that someday, hopefully, I get the opportunity to be the type of Oma that she was. She just really was the person in my life who I just really connected with very early on, and who I still to this day think of as, besides my own mother, as like one of the most important people in my life. So anyway, let's finally get around to talking about the label. Let's talk about the wax. Let's talk about the wicks. Let's talk about all of it, okay? All right, so I will tell you right now, this label, it took me a really long time, several months to go through label ideas and to come up with the one that spoke to me the most. On this label, I will hold it up to the camera, but it's a little bit hard to see with this particular label because, again, this isn't the label that that came from like the actual label company. This was off of a printer at Kringle Candle, and they order the labels professionally. So here is hopefully not blurry. Come on, camera, do it. There we go. So you can see there is a bowl of nuts. Obviously there are some orange pomanders within this bowl of nuts, and there are also some cinnamon sticks. There are some Christmas tree boughs in here as well. This just really represented not only the fragrance itself, but also something that was another core memory for me growing up. So my Oma and my Opa lived on a farm in a very small German town, and my uncle he owns this farm now, so it's all still there. In the front yard is a massive, I am talking massive, very, very old walnut tree. This tree was something that, like, it's one of my fondest memories because my Oma would actually have my cousin Kai and I, we were the first grandkids in the family. So it was, she kept us busy with this. She would send us outside when the walnuts were falling from the tree to collect them and to bring them down into the basement so that they could essentially cure and be ready for the holiday season. So, you know, I remember many years of Kai and I being under that tree. The nuts were still falling at the time, and so I was getting beamed in the head with nuts left and right. That might explain some things now. But yeah, so I just remember picking up these nuts, dragging them down into the basement. I was very little when I started doing this, and it is one of my first memories is like putting all these nuts in these baskets that my Oma would give me, and then I would take them down into the basement. And then during the holidays, there was always a bowl of especially walnuts, but she would also, you know, purchase other types of nuts to mix in there as well. But there was always bowls of walnuts on her coffee table in the kitchen. Wherever you went, there was just bowls of nuts with actually this exact type of nutcracker that you see in this picture here. Like, I remember my Oma had a nutcracker that had like a twisted piece at the end. And I'm telling you, as soon as I saw this picture, I was like, oh my God, this is it. Like, this ties in all of like my key core memories around like the holidays and around, you know, this fragrance. And so yeah, ultimately, like this was the label that spoke to me the most. You've got this beautiful bowl of nuts. It's got a dark, moody vibe to it, which was one of the things that when, you know, I first started writing down notes to myself about what I wanted this to like feel like in terms of the overall vibe, it was like dark, moody. I kind of like that. I like a dark, moody vibe. And like everything was just perfect about this. Like, I remember making designs like this in my pomanders, you know, like little hearts, little stars, little trees, different designs, things like that. Yeah, and so that was really where this label kind of came from, I guess you could say. I'm sure that if you grew up with grandparents or parents who immigrated from really any European country, I feel like most European countries, you know, have like bowls of nuts out during the holidays. I'm sure that you are probably also familiar with that tradition as well. But another thing that I asked from Kringle, like I didn't want like anything necessarily related to my like channel name on the label at all. Like this, I didn't want to do this as like a self-promotion thing. Like that was not what I wanted. But if you are new to my channel, I'm a huge dog person. My two dogs are kind of like my besties. I just adore them. I'm a pug person just in general. I have been for many years. My dog, Mr. Kong, was who made me fall in love with pugs, and I don't think that I will ever not be a pug person. But I remember asking Mick if I could just have a small little silhouette on the label of a little pug face. And he was like, that's perfect. Like that is gonna look super cute. So we found a little silhouette, and so when you look at this label, when you look at this orange specifically in the bottom of the picture here, you're gonna see a little pug snoot. It's just a small little like touch. You don't like, it's not big. You're not gonna notice it from a distance. I don't think it ruins the label. Makes the label better for me, but I guess I could understand if you're not a dog person, you would see this and go, what? But that's the meaning behind that. So that was really the only thing that I asked for in terms of like just an homage to my channel. I just wanted that little like pug snout on there to also just share my love of my dogs, and especially with my home fragrance content. Like Alf is always in my lap. If you watch any of my like fragrance reviews, you can usually hear him snoring in the background. If I'm just doing my weekly home fragrance roundup, you can usually hear him snoring in my lap here. He is still literally, he is sawing a log in my lap. I always joke around about enjoying the free pug ASMR. So yeah, anyway, I want to read you guys the description. I want to go through the fragrance notes. I want to give you some tips and tricks on the best possible way to get the most out of this scent, because I really did pick like the types of wicks that I went with definitely, I think, amp up the fragrance just a little bit. So, but we'll get to the wicks here in a second. Okay, scent description. This feels really weird to read this because like it's my own it's just weird. Okay, vintage Pomander. A lively mingle of orange zest and sweet lemon offer a sweet and citrus aroma, while a bit of spice, vanilla, and earthy warmth makes for a special holiday blend. Sorry, it really does make me kind of like, it makes me teary. Like this has been such a great opportunity, and I am truly, truly so thankful. So anyway, our top notes are orange zest and sweet lemon. The mid notes are clove leaf and cinnamon bark. The base is sheer musk, vanilla, and cedarwood. So my overall vision for this was to have it be focused on the citrus. I knew clove was going to be a part of it, but I didn't want the clove to be super strong or aggressive. I also wanted to put a little bit of a touch of like a tree note in there, because this to me very much is like the epitome of a holiday fragrance. If you follow my channel, you know that I'm always looking for orange pomander scents. Like I have reviewed several from several different companies. I love orange pomander fragrances, I really do. And so I wanted all of the things that like I wasn't finding in other candles to be in this one. So if you don't like this exact blend, my feelings won't be hurt, because obviously this was, you know, like my own personal preferences went into this. And we went through multiple different fragrances, and here's a fun fact for you. One of the lab samples that I received was actually a fragrance that you all now know as Away in a Manger. That was one of the samples that actually was originally created for me as a possibility for the actual candle. Away in a Manger was not quite what I was personally looking for, but I knew it was an absolutely incredible scent. And I remember sending a message to Mick and saying, hey, you know, like, This particular one, I don't remember what the name of it was when they sent it to me. They had like different names, not like, you know, fancy names like this, but they had names for the different candles to help me, you know, keep track of the different scents. I was like, this one right here is not quite it for me, but this is a scent that you've got to do something with this. It's really, really good. And I know a lot of you love Away in a Manger, so technically, I guess you kind of already have one of my potential scents. I think Away in a Manger is a beautiful fragrance, and if you haven't tried that one, it is available on the website right now. So maybe if you want to enjoy that one for now until this one comes back, because it is coming back. It's coming back, you guys. Kringle is going to pour more. So, but anyway, so yeah, for me, the most important focus was the juicy, bright citrus note, a kind of softer take on clove. I wanted it to be sweet, but not overly sweet. I needed it to have just a touch of a tree scent. I needed it just to have like the tiniest amount of cinnamon. I'm pretty sensitive to cinnamon fragrances. I talk a lot about how I don't like any type of red hot cinnamon. You know, if it smells like the big red gum, basically it's just like an automatic pass for me. And you guys, the Kringle perfumers nailed it with this blend right here. This is absolute perfection to my nose. I certainly hope it is to your noses as well. Again, my feelings won't be hurt if it's not exactly what you were looking for, but I think it's a beautiful take on a very traditional, very kind of old-fashioned, I guess in a way, type of scent. I know, you know, there are a lot of people who are, you know, my age and older who also grew up making orange pomanders. I don't know that it is so much a tradition anymore to make these, but they're just a lovely thing to create during the holidays. And I would highly encourage you, if you have kids, to give them some oranges, give them some cloves, and let them go ham and make you some orange pomanders, because they really do smell incredible. And I think, to me, this is just the epitome of everything that I have ever wanted in a vintage pomander fragrance. So the scent itself, I think, is so beautiful, and I have been loving burning it. Let's talk strength and throw. So the strength and throw of this is that solid, like, medium performance from Kringle. I put it in a hurricane sometimes, and it does amp it up just a little bit. But honestly, I've been burning like a couple at a time. So if you want more oomph from it, you could certainly do that. But it is a solid performer. The wicks, let's talk about the wicks. So these particular wicks, they do form, especially for the first few burns, and this has been my experience with all of my lab samples, they do form some wicked mushroom tops. And so for the first few burns, I would say burn it for maybe 3-4 hours. And then you're gonna notice those big mushroom tops. I would definitely extinguish it at that point. I would let it harden. I would trim the wicks and then, you know, relight it. But once you get to about this point here, those mushroom tops tend to stop a little bit. But these wicks here gave me the best strength and throw with this particular formulation. So we went through a few iterations of this, and I think these honestly are like the very best option. You can see the wax is still clean and white per the usual super clean burn of the Kringle soy formulation. You guys, it smells so good. And those of you that got it during the first round, I'm so excited for you. Those of you that missed out, I'm really sorry. There will be more coming, just know that. But yeah, everything about this turned out exactly the way that I wanted it to. Definitely make sure that you trim these wicks. Make sure that you, yeah, just make sure that you enjoy it. I love it so much. I feel like there's so much more that I want to say, because I feel like there should be more that I should be saying, but feel like I've probably said it all, and this video is way longer than it ever needed to be. But I did just genuinely want to apologize about the way, you know, that this was released. It was just a miscommunication. I am glad that Kringle is going to go ahead and pour some more. It really truly is, like, I think a shock to everybody how quickly it sold out. So, but I think people love this particular type of scent, and I think that there is absolutely a market for it. And so fingers crossed, you guys, and push it with Kringle. If you really like this one, hopefully they will keep it around for many seasons to come, and you know, we'll hopefully maybe re-release it next Christmas. When Mick told me that he would like to make it a reserve scent, I immediately was like, oh, that's actually perfect, because the reserve scents really do come back around quite frequently. Not in the numbers that we all want them to, believe me. I too have missed out on releases that really bummed me out. But yeah, like they're going to pour more. You will be able to purchase this. I don't have an exact timeline, but I feel like this next go around, hopefully the communication between all the different departments will be a little bit smoother. And yeah, and just so you guys know, I am not being paid for this. So if you use my discount code, which is Melanie15, I do get a very small commission. It's just like, you know, like all of the other affiliate codes that are out there, but I'm not getting money for this. So I just want to put that out there right now. That was not why I did this. I always appreciate you guys using my codes, and honestly, any money that I make from, you know, the use of my code, I turn around and just use that to purchase more candles to review for this channel. So yeah, this is not some money grab or anything like that. I am not that person, you guys, and I certainly hope that nobody thinks that. So I just want to dispel that before anybody out there, you know, starts spreading that. That is not the case at all. So anyway, I think I'm gonna leave it there. Again, my apologies for those that missed it. There are more coming. I appreciate all of your support. It means so much to me. It really truly like made me tear up to like see all of your like excitement around this. I appreciate all of you so much. I hope that you have the best experience with this, and yeah, just thank you. And thank you to Kringle. Thank you for the opportunity. This was something that I never dreamed would be like something that I could get to do when I started my channel. I didn't expect my channel to go anywhere. Like, this is like the honest truth. Like, I just was like, I'm just gonna start talking about things that I like. You know, like most YouTubers started with. And then unfortunately, like, I just stuck with that. Like, I didn't decide to like take it any further, but that's, you know, like once something turns into a job for me, like this is just my mentality on anything in life. Once I turn something that I love into a job, it immediately ruins it for me. You know, this is why I'm not currently doing flowers. I love doing flowers, and I was a florist for years, and then I just did it too much, and now I'm sick of it. And now I don't ever want to be a florist again. I need to figure out a new path in life. But anyway, yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting my channel. If you're new here, obviously I would love it if you would subscribe. If you don't, that's fine too. I hope you have a great day. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.